Introduce to you the two teams who will compete for their respective countries tonight. I might point out to you that both of these teams have been officially selected by their governing bodies here in Australia, the Australian Speedway Control Council. And in their opinion, the 6 best riders who can do their best for the Australian team tonight. Proudly carrying number 1, we think he's number 1 right here too, because he's a guy who started his speedway career here and has really established a wonderful name for himself in motorcycling. Wish him all the best. From Newcastle, Chris Watson. Come on over, Chris. A big congratulations from all of us here on making the official test side. Not your first test match though, you rode it across in Claremont.
Yes, it was a very good meeting. Both teams rode well. We were lucky to win. I think the Englishmen rode well, but all the boys took their guns and we won.
How do you feel about tonight?
Fairly confident. Everyone's keen. Should be a good meeting.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Riding in number 2 for Australia tonight, across from Western Australia, where Chris rode the last test match, so give him a big Newcastle welcome to do his best for the Aussies, Glyn Taylor. Glyn, welcome to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Across in Perth, it was a win to the Australians. What about tonight?
Well, I think we'll carry on the standard that we've set. We've got a very strong team that's got experience, it's got youth, and I think tonight we'll show the Australian public that Australia's back on top in the speedway world.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Riding at number 3 tonight for the Australians, we saw him back here just a few weeks ago, and he really lost nothing at all, despite having a short break from riding. From Victoria, please make welcome Phil Crump. Phil, welcome back to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Congratulations on your selection in tonight's team.
Thanks very much.
How are you looking forward to getting back into the Aussie colours and doing your best here at the Motordrome?
Well, I enjoy racing here, so we just give it our best shot.
Good luck. Phil Crump will ride at number 3. To ride at number 4, across from Western Australia, Glenn Doyle. Glenn, welcome to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Congratulations on in the side tonight, and hope that you can come away with some points.
I'm feeling fairly confident tonight and that I will, and hope everyone enjoys themselves tonight.
Good luck to you. Yeah. Riding in the number 5 position for Australia, down from Queensland, Steve Regeling. Please make him welcome. Steve, welcome back. We saw you here last season and you had a pretty good time of it too.
Yeah, the 2 meetings I had here are really good actually, and I think they were trying to get another one last year before I went back to England, but they couldn't get one. So I hope everything goes right tonight really, and I think we can beat them, and we'll give it 100%. That's the main thing.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Another Newcastle boy makes his appearance as an outright test rider tonight for the very first time. He might be a little nervous, so let's give him a really rousing Newcastle cheer. Stephen Davies. Congratulations, Stephen, on making the side. We saw you back from England last week. In my opinion, a rapidly improved ride, but going in as a test match rider tonight, as they say in the ads, how do you feel?
Pretty good, Ross. If I can do what I did last week, I don't think there'll be any problems.
You've ridden against some of these fellows in your season in England?
Yeah, all of them. I've ridden against all of these fellows.
So can you knock them over here on your own home track tonight?
Oh, I'll give it my best shot.
Good on you. Good luck.
Thanks, Ross.
And riding in the reserve position tonight, another Newcastle rider, teenager destined for a big future, Todd Wiltshire. Shouting nothing there, Todd. Congratulations on being selected as a reserve. I bet it's a big honour for you.
Oh yeah, I'm really thrilled, and I'll give him my best shot if I get called out to ride, that's for sure.
I'm sure there might be an occasion that you might do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident I'll get a ride.
Here will ride in the reserve position. The English ride, by the way, the Australian team tonight is managed by Mr. Peter White, and he will be calling the shots behind the scenes. Now, a welcome to the English team. And riding as their number 1 rider tonight is Neil Everts. Please make him welcome to Newcastle. Neil, welcome to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Great to have you here.
Yes, it's a great pleasure to be out here representing our country, and I think we're all pretty settled in now, so from now on it'll be some really good racing.
Have you had the opportunity to see our Motordrome track and have a practice or two?
Well, I've seen it, but I haven't had a practice.
Well, you'll no doubt be trying very hard tonight for the English team.
Certainly will.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Riding in number 2 tonight is Sean Wilson. Sean Wilson, welcome to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Step this way and let me have a bit of a chat to you. It's nice to have you out here.
Thank you.
You looking forward to your ride?
Yeah, it looks pretty good, this track. It looks like one we have back at home, so I'm hoping to go pretty well on it.
First time here in Australia?
Yeah.
So no doubt you're anxious to do well.
Yeah, that's right.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Riding at number 3 tonight is Paul Thorpe. Paul, welcome to the Newcastle International Motordrome. And riding for the British Lions and proudly carrying those colours.
Yeah, I'm enjoying riding in Australia for the England team, and hopefully tonight, we're going to have some good racing.
How was your season back home?
I had a real good season back home this year, and I had a good one last year, so hopefully next year's going to be better and I can get through to the World Final.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Paul Thorpe tonight, ladies and gentlemen, riding at number 4. He's been here before. Andy Smith, welcoming to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Andy, I'm sure we've seen you here before. Welcome back.
I'm glad to come back to this track because I really like it.
If my memory serves me right, one of the records was established by you on your previous trip here, and you're no slouch around here. You'll be trying to do your best.
Yeah, Peter Carr broke it last time, and then I broke it, and then I heard someone broke it this year.
So there'll be fast and tight racing country versus country tonight.
Yeah, it would be nice to get the track record back and win the meeting.
Well, there's a very confident man. Track record and a meeting win Andy Smith is shooting for. Riding in number 5, Peter Carr. Peter, welcome back to the Newcastle International Motordrome. We've seen you here before. How are you looking forward to competition tonight against the Aussies?
I'm really looking forward to it. I've always liked this track. I think we've got a really good time, and I think we just might win tonight. Well, I hope so anyway.
Well, you're down 1-0 in the series. This will be a great time to get square.
Yeah, we need to pull it back tonight.
Okay, good luck to you. Riding at number 6 for the English side tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Gary Havelock. Please make him welcome to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Gary, welcome.
Thanks a lot.
First trip here to Australia?
No, I was stayed in Adelaide last winter, but this is my first tour.
Your first tour?
Should be good.
And with the Adelaide experience and against some of the riders that you've probably seen here tonight, you'd be fairly confident.
Yeah, the first test in Perth, we let that slip. We should have really kept going and won that, but hopefully we'll make amends tonight.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Riding in the reserve position tonight for the English team, Alan Rossiter. Make him welcome to the Newcastle International Motordrome. Good luck tonight, Alan.
Thanks very much. It's good to be here.
We'll be looking forward to be on the hope that you can get yourself a ride despite the fact you're in the reserve spot.
Oh yeah, I should think I'll get a ride in the end, but I think the boys are pretty well keyed up to make it 1-1 after the first test.
And with an astute manager like Eric Bucock, I know he'll make some clever changes, and you might be the man that can grab an all-important point.
That's for sure, tell you.
Okay. Eric Bucock, the manager of the English side. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the two teams who will compete in the second official test match tonight for Norm Fraser Motorcycles. Wish them all the very best. Before they go, we will make the toss. Certainly will. We'll have the... Now, Peter White and Phil's going to... you're going to do the toss for the Aussie side, Phil? Who's going to call for the Englishman? Neil is. He calls a tail. Neil Everts calls a tail. It comes up head for the Australians. Phil Crump has won the toss. And we'll take 1 and 3 in the first test match heat. Ladies and gentlemen, wish the fellows all the very best of luck in the second test.
You know, riders come, riders go, but officials seem to go forever. I'm sure you won't mind me telling you that exactly 40 years ago, 1947, the big fat guy you see standing up on the stand, a bloke who's been a great friend, was officiating at a meeting just up the road here at Maitland. And he also did in Newcastle, in the great year of Speedway here in Australia, 1947, Max Sandeman. I hope you have a good meeting. The very first heat to get underway, England versus Australia. Chris Watson will ride in the red, Glenn Taylor in the blue, Neil Everett in the white, and Sean Wilson in the yellow.
Oh, beautiful start by Taylor in the blue. Watson's gone out with him. Taylor had a look for him at the little fellow. Wilson shot to the lead on the outside. And the little English rider, Wilson, takes up the running. A bit of a leg trail there to set himself up okay. Hooked it a little coming out of turn 4, but has got the lead from Watson. Then comes the other English rider, Everts. So Watson's got to try and split them away here if he can. Everts is coming at Watson in third place. He's going to make Watson work hard, and Watson got to go on. He's out after the little fellow, Wilson. He hooked it back in tight and close. Wilson's the leader. Watson's coming at him. Everts is holding down third place to the Englishman. Down the back straight away, Wilson's the leader. Watson is trying hard to pick him up. He's going to try and ride round the outside of him. The little fellow, Wilson, keeps it in tight and close, and he got there. Wilson is first, Watson is second, Everts is third, and fourth place goes to the Western Australian Glyn Taylor. Heat time 51.215. First, Sean Wilson of England, and he scores 3 points. Second, Chris Watson of Australia to score 2 points. Third, Neil Everts of England to score 1 point. And fourth, Glyn Taylor of Australia, who fails to score. A heat total for England of 4 and a heat total of Australia of 2. So England take the early lead after heat 1 of 4 points to 2. So all riders are up to the line. Phil Crump knows that he's in 4. He's not letting the Englishman up there. The Englishmen have 1-3 this time. And Smith's going into the 1, Thorpe going into the 3. Doyle goes into 2, Crump goes on the outside in 4, where Wilson won the last heat. Let's see if Crump can repeat that this time, giving the Aussies the point. Stand by for heat 2. On away well was Paul Thorpe, but Crump got away brilliantly on the outside. Thorpe and Smith are going quickly, the two English riders, to head out after Crump, but virtually a veteran for Australian solo racing is Phil Crump. But here come the two Englishmen riding right round the outside is Thorpe, but he hooked it back inside nicely. Crump carted him up there. I think he got a feeling that he was coming at him, but what control by Thorpe when he backed off, and Smith's coming through on the inside. The two Englishmen are hounding after Phil Crump, but he's still holding the way. Had a look back over the shoulder. He reckons he's got him covered from here, but here comes the little fella. Andy Smith out after him in the last half lap or so. Crump's doing it well for Australia. He's got the lead. Andy Smith coming at him on the inside. Crump snuck a look back over the shoulder to look for his mate Doyle, but he wasn't there. Phil Crump has grabbed the points for Australia and killed the heat, but the Englishmen finished second and third in the persons of Andy Smith and Paul Thorpe, and Glenn Doyle brought up the rear, and 50.550 is the official time. Australia's Phil Crump was first and looked in total control in the heat, looking back over his shoulder for his teammate in that race, Glenn Doyle, but he couldn't find him. He was too far back. He saw the two English riders right behind him, and so he just went out and killed the 3 points, but still was confident enough to sneak a few peeps back over the shoulder. Phil Crump scoring the 3 points. Second place going to Andy Smith, and he scores 2 points for the Englishman. Paul Thorpe finished third for England and scored 1 point. And Glenn Doyle of Australia finished fourth but failed to rack up a point. It was 3 points all from the heat. And so England 7 lead Australia 5. 2 points the difference. And here's another of our Newcastle boys, Stephen Davies. He's in blue and he's starting from 3, and his teammate is Queenslander Steve Regeling, who moves up to take 1. Rider in yellow coming up now is Gary Havelock. Comes up to the line in his yellow. He's going from 2, and Peter Carr, who's ridden here at the Motordrome a number of times. In fact, I can go back when Peter first started riding here and he looked terrible. He's made tremendous improvement and now represents his country tonight. He had a dive at the tapes. They back off. Away they go. Davies got away all right, so too did Regeling. Davies is looking for the lead. Regeling's going to go with him. Australia in a position 4-5 now. There's the split up coming from the rider in white, and that's Peter Carr. Carr goes, oh, brilliant pass by Carr on the inside of Davies. Then Carr goes to the lead. After getting away like a snail from the start, he's showing us his true riding ability now and shot to the front. Beautiful inside pass on Stephen Davies. Steve Regeling is holding down third place, and chasing behind him is Gary Havelock. But look at Peter Carr go. He's out in front of Steve Davies, and then comes, oh, gee whiz, Havelock almost went down there at the back of the field, but he sorted it out. But Peter Carr is flying. He's shot to the lead and comes home and takes a brilliant 3 points to the English side. Carr is first, Davies is second, Regeling just held on for third, and fourth place to Havelock. Look at the time. 49.633. A brilliant ride by Peter Carr. He was slowly away, very slowly out of the traps. Probably the first lunge at the tapes upset him a little and he lost his confidence. But boy, did he regather his composure very quickly. Davies got to the lead. Regeling was holding second, and then came Carr. Picked them off down the back straight away and into turn 3 and took the 3 points for England. Coming up in blue is Glenn Doyle, who was a little disappointing in his first ride. No doubt will be looking to rapidly improve on that performance. And the last rider to come round is Neil Everts, the man who is calling the shots as far as captaincy is concerned, but then the Bucock boys are calling the shots from the infield managerial wise. By Everts on the inside. Got away with it all right. Set again. Away they go. Getting away well on the outside was Doyle. Wilson got away all right too. Crump was very slow to go. Now Doyle, the Western Australian's got the lead. Can Crumpy get up there and help him out? Doyle's in front, followed by Wilson, and then comes Everts, and Crump looking to come through on the inside. We need the Australian Phil Crump to get up there and grab a point. Wilson's getting out after Doyle. Doyle had a look back and said, where are you, Crumpy? Come on, let's get a point or two on these Pommy boys. The leader at the moment, though, is Doyle, the Western Australian. Crump trying to come through on the inside. He's getting closer, Phil Crump. He might be able to get a point here as Everts gets up very high on the track. Crump driving at him on the inside. Doyle's got the lead. Everts kicked away from Crump. Doyle's going to come home and take out the big point. It's going to be close to the minors, but Wilson gets second. Everts gets third. And Phil Crump could not quite get there to get an extra point for the Aussies, but a much improved ride by Glenn Doyle. That'll make him happy with a winning time of 50.982. So it was Glenn Doyle of Australia first and 3 points. Sean Wilson of England second and 2 points. Neil Everts of England third, 1 point. And Phil Crump of Australia fourth and failing to score. 50.982 the official time. A 3-3 situation from the heats means that Australia still trail the English side by 2 points. England 13 lead Australia 11 after 4 heats. Still a long way to go, and just 2 points the difference. This test match still hangs very much in the balance. Norm Fraser Motorcycles bring us tonight's test match, and did you see the impressive lineup of machinery down there underneath the Motordrome Supporters Club clubhouse that Norm Fraser has there? Frank Lovett and the team will look after your every requirement. New motorcycles, used motorcycles. In fact, they may even have a taillight if you happen to bust a taillight on a DR250. They might even have one in there for you at Norm Fraser Cycles. Clothing, a big range of clothing. helmets, tyres. Motorcycle enthusiasts will be catered for, and then you have a look at the power boats they have down there too, the jet skis and the motor mowers. Norm Fraser Cycles of Broadmeadow. Let's get back to the action of their test match, and we see Stephen Davies representing Australia to move up into 1. His partner is Steve Redgeling, who takes 3. Andy Smith riding in yellow and black quarters in this race, not just the yellow, but yellow and black quarters. He's taking position 2. Andy Smith, and Paul Thorpe riding in the white goes into 4. Away they go, a very even start. Thorpe got away well on the outside. He had a look across to see who was there, and he saw that Redgeling and Davies were pushing up on the inside, but the outside seems to be the best position when they can make the traps, and Thorpe has made the traps here. Now Redgeling's giving chase, and Davies is in the hot seat, because chasing out after him is the little Englishman Andy Smith. Australia holding 3-all at the moment with England because Thorpe's in the lead, but let's go back to that 3rd place where Stephen Davies is being hounded by little Andy Smith, who hooked it back inside there to try and gain some ground. Go Stephen, hang on to that 3rd place. Andy Smith trying to drive up on the inside of him. Davies has just got him covered at the moment. We're watching the action of 3rd and 4th place because Thorpe and Redgeling seem to have the front covered. Andy Smith making a dive at Davies, but he didn't get him. Davies held on to keep Australia in the test match. Thorpe was first for England, Redgeling was second for Australia, Davies was third for Australia, and Andy Smith was 4th. And another cracking time, not quite the fastest of the night, but it broke the 50-second barrier, 49.834. Paul Thorpe of England first and 3 points. His first win of the night. Congratulations to him. Steve Redgeling of Australia second, 2 points. Stephen Davies of Australia third, 1 point. Andy Smith of England 4th and fails to score, 49.834. Another 3-3 for both teams from that heat means that England still lead by that gap that they opened up in the first heat, 2 points. England 16, Australia 14. Heat 6 will feature Chris Watson of Newcastle, Australia, and Glyn Taylor of Perth, Australia, to do it for the Aussies, and Peter Carr, the man who holds the fastest heat time so far tonight, riding for England along with Gary Havelock, riding for England. 2-minute siren has sounded, and riders are aware that that little bit of extra pressure is on them, apart from the pressure that's on them of English riders trying to stay in front and Australian riders trying to catch up the 2 points. For England, Carr and Havelock. Carr riding in the white, coming into 3. Havelock goes into 1. Watson's taking the 4 here. Taylor the 2. Havelock backs back out, comes in again. Let's watch Chris Watson from the outside. Away they go. Oh, gee, Peter Carr flew the traps beautifully. Watson tries to get out after him on the inside, and Glyn Taylor made an absolute mel. The bike's gone on Taylor. He's got bike problems. So here's a great opportunity for England. So Chris Watson has got everything on his own shoulders. He's got to carry the lot for the Australians. It's Carr in the lead, followed by Watson. Then comes Havelock, and Taylor's right out of it with a sick engine. Out of turn 4 comes Peter Carr. Here comes comes Watson trying to stay with him. Carr had a look back over his shoulder and said, gee whiz, I can't give anything away here. Watson's coming after me. Carr is the leader. Watson slowly but surely pegging him back into the last corner. Watson's going to try and get him on the inside, but I think Carr's got too many guns, and Peter Carr is first. Second place to Chris Watson. Third place goes to Havelock, and fourth place with an engine that was missing very badly, Lynn Taylor. And a winning time to Peter Carr of 50.234. Peter Carr, who flew the traps, he really got the start nicely. Watson chased and chased very determinately, but just couldn't make up that advantage that he grabbed at the start from Peter Carr. Peter Carr of England was first and 3 points, 2 rides, 2 wins. He's the top point scorer at the moment. Second place to Chris Watson, 2 starts, 2 seconds. Third place to Gary Havelock of England, 1 point. And Glyn Taylor of Australia finished fourth and failed to score. He still hasn't broken the duck. So England sneak away another couple of points. It was 4 points to them from the heat, only 2 points to Australia. And so after heat 6, England have a 4-point lead. The riders around to the tape. Stephen Davies is first around. Rides for the Walls End Motorcycle Club here in Newcastle, and rides for Kings Lynn, First Division in England. When he first went over, it was Second Division. He made such an impression on his first season that he gained a contract for First Division riding this just completed season, and gained a very healthy average, a good enough average to ensure that he will do the same again next season. So for Australia, in the red, Steve Regeling, and in the blue, Stephen Davies. For England, in the white, Neil Everts, and in the yellow, Sean Wilson. Up to the line they come. Everts is foxing a little, playing a good captain's role. Almost broke them.
Yes, he did.
He's got to go over the line.
Yes, he did.
And yes, he's been excluded. Now, might I point out to you, that you do not need to break the tapes.
Okay.
The rules state that if both axles cross the white line, you have gone too far. Now, Everts is out,
Reserve can come in.
and tonight a reserve rider is being permitted to take his place. Everts out and Rossiter in. Set. They go, a very even start. Wilson on the outside, Davies, they got tightened right up there, and both the Englishmen have gone to the lead. Well, how's that for egg on your face? Wilson and Rossiter, the replacement rider, are riding like a team, and Davies is trying to climb all over the top of them with nowhere to go. Rossiter on the inside, and Wilson got away. Rossiter's died, so now Davies has got an opportunity to get hold of Wilson, and he's got him on the... Oh, boy, what a pass! Stephen Davies straight to the lead, and Australia roars. Davies the leader, but Wilson's coming back at him on the inside. Davies goes out of turn to the leader. Chasing out after him is Wilson, but the local boy is going to do it. The boy from the Walls End Motorcycle Club. Let's bring the house down. Stephen Davies. Davies is first. Wilson is second. Regeling is third. And an official time of 51.013. And there was a bit of a dark cloud hanging over the Aussie chances for a lap or two there, with the two Englishmen having the track completely covered.
Yes, that was bad.
And bad luck, and just before I check the points out there, a change in the next heat. For Australia, Glyn Taylor is out, and Todd Wiltshire, the Newcastle rider, gets a ride. So it'll be the two Newcastle boys, Watson and Wiltshire, doing it for Australia. Thorpe and Smith for England, so let's go back to heat 7. First, Stephen Davies of Australia and 3 points. Second, Sean Wilson of England, 2 points. Sensational pass by Davies in turn 3. Regeling of Australia third, 1 point. And Alan Rossiter, the reserve rider, failed to finish and failed to score. 4 points to the Australians, 2 points to England. Australia get back close to the lead, but England now only a 2-point advantage. England 22, Australia 20. Thorpe comes up in 1, Smith in 3 for England, Wiltshire in 2, Watson in 4. The two Newcastle boys are going to do their best for the Aussie Kangaroos. Ready, green, away they go. Wiltshire got away all right, so too did Watson on the outside. Oh, Wiltshire got squeezed right up by the Englishman. Watson went to the lead, followed by Smith, and here's Wiltshire coming up on the inside of Thorpe. They're pretty tightly bunched. Watson the leader, Smith in second spot, Wiltshire gunning through on the inside, gets up into third place. Wiltshire's gone for third. Go Todd, he's going to grab the Australians back 2 points here, I reckon. Let's hear the Newcastle crowd roar for the Newcastle boys. Chris Watson's out in front. I think Australia can get back on level pegging here. Watson turning in the ride of his life at the moment. His first ride for Australia. But look out, Chris Watson's under some pressure up front. Andy Smith making a dive. I don't think he'll get there. It's going to be close. Watson's going to be first. Watson is first. Here goes Wiltshire down. Thorpe got up for third place. Just in front of Wiltshire, I think. Yes. I don't know. Todd Wiltshire was handing in the ride of his life for a moment or two there, but I think Thorpe's got him right on the line. 50.468 the official time. And the official placings are through. Watson of Australia first and 3 points, and he joins Sean Wilson as the leading point scorer. Andy Smith of England second and 2 points, and officially third, Paul Thorpe of England, 1 point. Todd Wiltshire fourth and failed to score. 3 points to each team from the heat, and still a 2-point gap, which Australia looked as though they might be going to narrow in that heat, but it slipped away from them in the last 50 metres. England 25, Australia 23. Heat 9, to take us to the point where we'll take a break in the Test match series. For Australia, Phil Crump and Glenn Doyle. And for England, their leading point scorer, unbeaten so far tonight, Peter Carr and Gary Havelock. Doyle slowly up, getting set. Away they go, a very good start. Crump got away well. Doyle's going to go out with him on the inside. Carr is slowly away. That's what the Australians want. They wanted a 1-2. Crump is the leader. Oh, look at Peter Carr gather in Doyle, and he's out after Crump. Come on, Crumpy, hang on. He carted him up beautifully there. Good riding by Crump, but Carr's getting out after him. Phil Crump's going to have to use all his experience here to hold out the flying Peter Carr, and then comes Doyle of Australia. Carr's making a dive at Crump on the outside. Crumpy's going to keep it down tight and low. Carr's going to make a dive at him. Carr rocks rocketing through on the inside, got right through on the inside of Crump and took up the running. Oh, after a terrible start again, he's showing some outstanding ability on the machine, and Peter Carr a brilliant win. Phil Crump is second, Glenn Doyle is third, and Gary Havelock is fourth. Oh, but take nothing away from the guy. He rides with tremendous guts and determination, and he threw all caution to the wind there. He said, "Okay, Crumpy, who's going to give way, me or you?" And he dived up on the inside. Crump just backed off that little bit when he saw Carr on the inside of him and couldn't go on with it. And Carr grabs the 3 points for England. Peter Carr first, and 3 points, a winning time 50.696. The Norm Fraser Motorcycles International Test. Australia versus England. Just getting the 30-metre line put down for riders so they know they need to stay on a relatively straight course until that point of time. Watson's milling around in circles, maybe a little nervous, maybe to save the clutch. Although the England riders are not terribly concerned about it. Now the 30-metre line is down. We're set. Heat 10. Ready to go. Oh, Taylor was the one making the dive. Everts is making a dive at the tapes. Away they go. Watson was away well on the outside, so too were the two English riders. Oh, Watson's been carted right up on the concrete wall, and England are running 1 and 2. Everts the leader from Wilson, and Watson's got to try and split them up if he possibly can. But England's about to grab a big 5-1 here. Everts leads away from Wilson. Watson's giving chase, but this could be a vital heat for the Englishmen. They might sneak a big enough break to hang on to this test match right here and now in this heat. Watson's got to try and grab hold of Wilson if he possibly can. Only 1 lap left to go. Everts leads. Wilson is second. Watson is trying hard to pick up Wilson. We need him to try and come at him in this corner if he can barrel round the outside of him. Everts is going to come down and take it out. Wilson will tuck in for second. Watson is third, and Taylor is back in 4th place at the tail of the field. A very, very important heat of our test match tonight, and the English riders very, very happy that they've grabbed 5-1 there. That's been the biggest heat result so far tonight. So let's go back to our Norm Fraser Cycles scoreboard. Everts of England first and 3 points. Wilson of England second and 2 points. Watson of Australia third and 1 point. Taylor of Australia fourth, failed to score, winning time 50.979. So the time's equally as quick, despite the fact that the track has been well used since the previous heats. The time's just as fast. 50.979. England now open up a very handy 6-point lead. England 33, Australia 27. The 2-minute siren has sounded for Heat 11, and Australia are now on the rack. They've got to start winning heats. Got to start winning heats. If they don't from this point on, the task is going to be very, very difficult. 33-27, a 6-point break. Phil Crump is first up for Australia. And Glenn Doyle of Western Australia comes out in the blue. Andy Smith comes up in the yellow and black, and Thorpe comes up in the white. Australia needing points. They need your cheering to try and get back in this test match. they go. Oh, and yes, Doyle got away well, and so too did Crump, and Thorpe trying to go with them on the outside, but Australia have momentarily got 1-2. Doyle the leader from Thorpe, followed by Crump, who's trying to come back on the inside, and Andy Smith is chasing out after him. Here comes Thorpe round the outside of Doyle. Doyle on the inside, Thorpe on the outside, Crump keeping in touch as well, as Doyle beautifully carted Thorpe up there, and Crump got closer. Doyle is the leader, followed by Thorpe of England. Then comes Crump of Australia, hooking it in tight and close, and Andy Smith is giving chase. Phil Crump is getting closer to Thorpe as they come out of turn 2. Doyle is the leader. Australia are going to grab 2 points back here. Go the Aussies. It's Doyle the leader, followed by Thorpe and Crump making a dive. Doyle, followed by Thorpe, Crump and Smith, who tried valiantly to pick up a point but didn't make it. But Australia are back in it. Give the Aussie riders some encouragement. They're back in the test. They needed to grab some points there, and they did it.
Well done, Doyle. Well done.
Doyle, just before we go on, changes in the next heat. Gary Havelock is out, and Alan Rossiter is in. Havelock out, Rossiter in for England. Now let's go to the scoreboard.
That's a good change.
For Australia, Glenn Doyle first, and 3 points. Second place to Paul Thorpe of England, 2 points. Third place to Phil Crump of Australia, 1 point. And Andy Smith of England fails to score. So the heat total was 4 for Australia and 2 for England. So the gap narrows. What was a 6-point gap, now only a 4-point gap as the Aussies close in. After heat 11, England 35, Australia 31. Heat 12 coming up. Steve Regeling and Steve Davies of Australia, Peter Carr and Alan Rossiter of England. Rossiter replaces Havelock, and Peter Carr, unbeaten tonight. Let's see if either Regeling or Davies can lower his colours. Can the Aussies knock over Peter Carr in this heat? We'll see. Plenty of support from our parochial Aussie fans out there as the Australians keep in it. 4 points the difference.
5-1 here to England.
And so really only one heat. And a rider at the gate, Steve Regeling. Davies comes up into 2. Rossiter, the reserve rider, goes into 1. Peter Carr, the fastest man of the night so far, will come up into 3. And Steve Regeling will come up into 4. Rossiter and Carr for England, Davies and Regeling for Australia. Set. Away they go. Regeling was away okay on the outside, so too was Carr, and England go to the lead. Here's Regeling coming round the outside of Rossiter to go up into second place, and Davies coming through on the inside of Rossiter and sliced him right out. So the Australians come back to a 3-all situation. Carr is the leader, followed by Regeling and then Davies. At the back of the pack is Rossiter trying to get back in the action, but the man who's really been setting the fast times tonight, Peter Carr from England, is the race leader. Had a look back over his shoulder. Regeling had a look back over his shoulder. He saw that Stephen Davies is having a little bit of trouble with Rossiter at the back of the pack. Davies got up high there, and that allowed Rossiter to get closer to him, but now Davies kicks away again. Peter Carr, the leader, pulls a big mono and takes the checkered flag. Steve Regeling is second. Stephen Davies is third. Alan Rossiter from England is fourth, and 50.391 the winning time. Peter Carr of England maintains his unbeaten record and scores 3 points for the English side. Steve Regeling of Australia, second and 2 points. Stephen Davies of Australia, third and 1 point. And the replacement rider for England, Alan Rossiter, was fourth and failed to score. The two countries squared the points from that heat, 3 points each. So still 4 points the difference. England 38, lead Australia 34. In heat 13, Phil Crump and Glenn Doyle of Australia, Neil Everts and Sean Wilson for England. Doyle comes up in the blue for Australia, and Everts comes up in the white. Doyle coming up, then Everts, Crump. Oh, Crump made the dive. Doyle almost went through with him as well. No one completely crossing the line there. Up they come again. Oh, Everts, very close, very close. Boy, he lives on a short fuse, does Neil Everts. Away they go, and Everts missed the start completely. Getting away well on the inside was Doyle, but none better than Wilson, the little Englishman, and he's gone out into the lead. He saw that Neil Everts got away very, very badly at the start, but Doyle's giving chase to Wilson. Wilson's the leader, followed by Doyle. Then comes Crump under pressure now from Everts, as Everts gets round the outside of him. Oh, there's no place for the faint-hearted out there at the moment. Wilson leads away from Doyle, and here comes Neil Everts. The England #1 rider is starting to really throw out the challenge to Doyle. England up into a 4-2 situation, and Everts is trying to look to make it 5-1, but here's Doyle trying to kick back for the Australians. He makes a dive at Wilson. Wilson the leader. Doyle hooks back on the inside. They come to the line. Wilson first, Doyle second, Everts third, and Crump fourth.
Well done, Doyle. Well done.
Oh, a brave ride by Glenn Doyle there. He was under plenty of pressure from Neil Everts, the England #1 rider, who really was mucking up the start and got caught napping when the tapes flew up. But he rode back with a great deal of determination. And then Doyle had to really kick back strongly to keep Australia in the chance of being wiped right out. But a good heat for England. Sean Wilson of England first and 3 points. Glenn Doyle of Australia second and 2 points. Neil Everts of England third and 1 point. And Phil Crump of Australia failed to score. A very valuable heat for England as they sneak away again. 4 points to them and 2 points to the Australians. A 6-point gap. England 42, Australia 36. 42-36, 6 points the difference. As the warning siren sounds, heat 14 is with us. Only 5 heats remain. Still enough heats for Australia to win this test match, but they now need to strike back. After England's heat win there, Australia need a heat win here, or they're going to have to win the last 4 heats on the trot. Davies up to the line, coming up to the outside. He'll take 4. Steve Regeling will go into 2. Thorpe and Smith for England. Smith going to go into the 1, and Thorpe will go into 3. Redgeling coming up to the line. They go. A very good start was made by the England rider Thorpe, and he takes up the running. Here's Davies coming round the outside, and Redgeling tucked down low. They're going to go out after the Englishman Thorpe. Thorpe has the lead. Davies is coming at him on the outside. Thorpe carts him up nicely. Then comes Davies, followed by Redgeling and Smith. They're very tightly bunched as they go out of turn 2. Thorpe's the leader. Stephen Davies losing a little bit of ground. Then comes Redgeling and Andy Smith starting to make up ground. Thorpe got up very high. Davies tried to hook back on the inside, but still Thorpe has the lead. Davies is in second place. Redgeling running third. Australia don't look like they're going to grab back any points here because Thorpe has ridden well tonight, and he'll come down and take out the checkered flag. Thorpe is first, Davies second. Redgeling is third, and fourth place goes to Andy Smith. Very important ride by Paul Thorpe there to win in 50.487. I say important because Davies and Redgeling looked to issue a challenge very early on in the heat to try and put Australia in front, but England managed to keep the ship evenly balanced as far as the heat was concerned. England's Paul Thorpe was first and 3 points. Australia's Steve Davies was second and 2 points. Australia's Steve Redgeling was third and 1 point. And England's Andy Smith was fourth and failed to score a point. 50.487, the official time. 3 all from the heat, and still 6 points the difference with now only 4 heats remaining. England 45, Australia 39. Well, just at the moment there is a discussion going on between the England manager, Eric Bucock, and the chief steward at the meeting regarding Chris Watson and his rear tyre. Apparently, prior to the meeting, the English manager is discussing with the chief steward that it was agreed prior to the meeting the type of tyre that would be permitted during the night. And I understand that Watson has gone out with a tyre that the English riders and team manager is disagreeing with. And the steward is instructing Watson to try and get a message to him that he's to go back to the pits and change the tyre or put in the reserve rider. So the Australian team manager really now has some troubles on his hand. The England manager, Eric Bucock, is pointing out that prior to the meeting it was agreed that all riders would ride with the agreed to tyre. Chris Watson is claiming that he has ridden with that tyre all night anyway. There's a discussion going on at the pit gate area. Lynn Taylor from Western Australia is going to head back to the pits and see what's going on. So it was agreed. I'm being addressed to by the chief steward at the moment, who is telling me that at the riders' briefing that involved all team managers and team riders, it was agreed that they rode with Barham tyres and that they would, every team rider would ride with those during the night, but provided a puncture occurred during the running of a race, that perhaps some other changes could be made. So Watson has gone out apparently, according to the England team manager. Chris Watson has gone out with a Carlisle tyre, and immediately Eric Bucock has lodged a protest with the chief steward. Now the chief steward has instructed Watson to either replace the tyre or send out a reserve. He would have, when the timer has started, and there it is now, so he's got either 2 minutes to change his tyre or 2 minutes for the reserve to come in. So Watson is going to buy up his 2 minutes, and Wiltshire will be standing by if he can't be out in 2 minutes. They're all at the start area, right on the 2 minute mark. So up we come, heat 15, a very controversial heat, and the Australians need to bag some winning points. Has Chris Watson been stirred up enough to win this race? We'll see. They're set. Away they go. And Watson was away well. Going with him very quickly though was Peter Carr, and Peter Carr and Watson and Carr. Carr got the better on the outside. Watson drops back to second place, and the man who's really been rocketing tonight, Peter Carr, is the leader. Carr leads from Watson, followed then by Havelock, and Taylor at the back of the pack. Oh, the Englishman Havelock is starting to grab Watson in. Chris Watson's under a bit of pressure here. He'll have to at least hold 2 points or England will wrap this test match up here. 1 lap to go, and the leader is Carr, followed by Watson. Then comes Havelock. Here's Watson getting up on the outside of Carr. Carr on the inside, Watson on the outside. They come down to the checkered flag. Watson makes a dive on the inside of Carr and didn't quite get there. A bit of a cheeky victory salute by Peter Carr, but by gee, it was only just a victory. Watson came charging at him on the line and almost took it away. Winning time 50.665, 50.665. And Peter Carr of England was first. He remains unbeaten tonight. 5 starts and 5 wins. Chris Watson of Australia second and 2 points. Gary Havelock of England third and 1 point, and Glyn Taylor of Australia failed to score. England increasing their advantage, 4 points from that heat to take them on to 49, 49, and Australia 41. England 49, Australia 41. 8 points the difference. Australia must get a 5-1 heat somewhere in the next 3 heats or they're out. 3 heats remaining, 8 points the difference. In this heat, Regeling and Davies of Australia take on Everts and Watson of England. Sorry, Watson on my mind after the last heat. Make that Wilson. Although, if I can try and get 3 riders in there for Australia, I will. Up to the line they come. This is heat 16. Set. Away they go. Regeling away well from the outside. So too was Davies and Wilson of England. Davies carts Wilson up and down he goes. Coming through on the inside was Everts. The red light's on. Davies and Wilson were going shoulder to shoulder through the corner. Neither rider would give way. Davies got the advantage and Wilson went down. He's up on his feet, but he's an angry little fellow. He's very unhappy. Very unhappy little fellow. Stephen Davies is having a chat with him. Finger being waved. Now Wilson, as the fallen rider, will await on what the verdict will be. Wilson's bike, I doubt very much, will be able to compete. The handlebars and forks are badly twisted, and Wilson is excluded. Wilson excluded. The rider who fell and caused the race to be stopped is excluded. No replacement permitted. We have Regeling and Davies of Australia, who will take on Neil Everts of England. So Everts has got a big responsibility here to keep England in front, whilst Regeling and Davies have a great opportunity to keep Australia on the map. England 49, Australia 41, and a controversial heat 16. Oh, nerves are going to be right on edge here. Away they go. Wilson was slow to move. Very quickly away was Everts. Then comes Davies, followed by Regeling going round the outside. Everts has got the lead from Davies and Regeling, and here's Davies starting to move up on Everts. Everts has got the lead. Davies is coming out after him, and then comes Regeling and the fallen rider Wilson at the tail of the field. Everts is the leader. Davies is trying hard to pick him up, but he got up in a little bit too high, and the loose stuff was a bit thick there, and he lost some ground. Everts the leader, followed by Davies of Australia. England leading with 1 lap to go. Davies is trying hard to get hold of Everts. Everts leads. Davies is up very, very high on the track. Then comes Regeling, followed at the tail of the field by Wilson. But Everts has done the job for England. He's killed the 3 points. Everts is first. Davies is second. Regeling is third. And Wilson on the borrowed bike is fourth. 50.754 the official time. Change in the necks for England. Andy Smith is out and Alan Rossiter is in. And Glyn Taylor is out and Todd Wiltshire is in. So 2 team changes, both reserves being used. For Australia, Glyn Taylor is out, Todd Wiltshire is in. For England, Andy Smith is out, Alan Rossiter is in. So let's go back to our scoreboard. From heat 16, under protest, Neil Everts of England first and 3 points. Stephen Davies of Australia second and 2 points. Steve Regeling of Australia third and 1 point. Sean Wilson of England fourth. He failed to score. A heat time of 50.754. The points level, 3-all, and the overall points tally, England 52, lead Australia 44. Australia need 2 5-1s to draw this test match. Up to the line. Getting set. Away they go. Wiltshire and Watson were both away very well. So too was Thorpe. Wiltshire on the inside, Watson on the outside. The two Aussies have got the lead. Can they hang on to it? It's Watson leading from Wiltshire, and Wiltshire is trying hard in second spot. Wiltshire trying hard now to hang on. He had a look over his shoulder. He's hanging on to second spot at the moment. Go the Newcastle boys. They're running 1 and 2. I think the Newcastle boys can do it here. Watson and Wiltshire. Then comes Thorpe, followed by Rossiter. Go, Todd Wiltshire boy. The young teenager's got plenty on his shoulders. Watson's not back there to help him. Thorpe tried to come at him. Wiltshire kicked away. Watson, Wiltshire. Here comes Thorpe making a dive at him on the inside. Wiltshire hooked it back. They got there. Watson and Wiltshire are first and second. Thorpe is third. Rossiter is fourth, and let's bring this house down for the two Newcastle boys, Watson and Wiltshire. In Aussie terms, you bloody beauty. 5 points to the Aussies, and 1 point to the Englishmen on the score chart, and the Aussies are still alive, but they need a 5-1 here as well. On the score chart, Chris Watson first and 3 points. Reserve rider Todd Wiltshire second and 2 points. For England, Thorpe third and 1 point, and failing to score the reserve rider Alan Rossiter. Time taken for the heat, 51.257. England 53, lead Australia 49. 4 points the difference, 1 heat to go, and the Englishman who's unbeaten on the night, Peter Carr, could be the man to ensure that England stays in front. Whilst for Australia, Phil Crump and Glenn Doyle have the responsibility of finishing 1-2. And I might remind you that Phil Crump has been in a situation like this before, because I'm sure Phil Crump has actually won a team's championship in solo racing, which means that two Australian riders compete against the best in the world. I'm pretty sure it was Crump and Sanders. 4 of them. Four in the team, but Phil Crump was one of them. Billy Sanders was another. Gary Galini, I think, was a third. So Crump knows all about teams racing, and this is where it's got to happen now. But the timer could have something to do with it too. The other England rider I cannot see from the pits at this point of time. No, here he is. He's on the track. So for England, Peter Carr and Gary Havelock. Havelock comes up. Then Crump, then Carr and Doyle. Set. Away they go in the last heat of the second test match at the Newcastle International Motordrome. Crump on the inside, Carr on the outside, but Carr got there. He's ridden undefeated tonight, has Peter Carr. The Australians are going to fight right down to the wire as Phil Crump comes round the outside and Glenn Doyle tucks it down on the inside. Gary Havelock's back at the tail of the field. Peter Carr, the leader, out of the back straight away they go. Here comes Phil Crump going to get closer to him. There's 4 points the difference. Australia need 5-1. Peter Carr's got the lead for England. Crump and Doyle are trying their heart out in second and third place. Carr leads, followed by Crump, Doyle and Havelock for England at the tail of the field. Down the back straight away, and Peter Carr's going to come home with a maximum. 6 starts, 6 wins. He does it for England. Carr is first, Crump is second, Doyle is third, Havelock is fourth, and a time of 51.189. And with the situation being locked up in the last heat, England win a very exciting second test match brought to you by Norm Fraser Cycles by 4 points. England 56, Australia 52. On the score chart, it was Peter Carr for England first and 3 points and unbeaten on the night. Second place going to Phil Crump of Australia and 2 points. Third place to Glenn Doyle of Australia, 1 point, and Gary Havelock of England failed to score. A repeat of the time, 51.189, and a repeat of the final point score, England 56, Australia 52. And the Australian riders on the French Brothers Tyres vehicle doing their lap of honour as well. Here's your chance to show them that you've enjoyed their solo racing tonight. Give them a yell and give them a cheer. And just tell them how you've appreciated their fantastic performances. Peter Carr of England riding a maximum, and that's a credit to anybody in a test match arena. And this has been an official test match tonight. But equally fine performances by our own Chris Watson, Stephen Davies, Todd Wiltshire. As they come round into our presentation area, I'll take the opportunity to speak to a couple of the riders, and then they can complete their lap of honour. Lovely Harley Davidson leading the way. The England team riders coming into our presentation area. No doubt very, very excited about their win. And the Australian riders coming around. First rider, I'd like, ladies and gentlemen, congratulate him, will you, on a fine performance tonight. 6 rides and 6 wins. Peter, congratulations, a top job. And later on tonight, on behalf of Norm Fraser Motorcycles, who have helped present this test match, a helmet will come your way, courtesy of the spare parts division. But you must be very, very happy with a maximum in a test match.
Yeah, I'm very happy. It's not every day that you get a maximum in a test match, and tonight it was just one of them things. Every ride went perfect.
Now, the controversy of the heat and the fallen rider didn't upset the riders at all coming out for that very vital heat 16.
No, I think we won fair and square. I think it was just the wrong decision at the moment. It was an odd first turn, and that happens, but you shouldn't exclude a rider. It should always be all 4 back, so I think it was the right decision.
Well, we're going to see you and your team back later on in the year for an open race meeting, and I suppose you're looking forward to that again, because this track seems to really suit you. There, by the way, on behalf of Fraser Cycles, and I thank Ted very much, brand new FM helmet. I'm sure you'll put that to damn good use.
Thanks a lot, as I said. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Peter Carr was the maximum man tonight. Stephen Davies, can I speak to you for a moment, please, Stephen, from the Australian team? Congratulations to you. A fine individual performance tonight. I just wondered whether that particular incident may have gotten to you at any point of time. How did you feel at that particular moment when the discussions were going on regarding the fall?
I felt pretty bad about it, you know, for Sean's point of view, because I didn't want him to take any grudges or anything.
Did you feel, though, that you might have had the corner at that time?
Yeah, well, like I was in front. There was the same sort of incidents happened there earlier when I was on the outside of Paul Thorpe. I had to back off. It was either that or hit the fence, and I backed off. He like Sean, wasn't going to back off, and
So it was, despite the fact that that pressure came your way, you came back and did tremendously well in the heat. And what about the other two boys, Chris and Todd Wiltshire? When Australia needed a 5-1, they did it.
Yeah, it was really good. Good, for the local crowd and good for Australia.
Well, you'll be back against these fellows in an open meeting later on.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
Well, it's been a very long and busy night. I won't get the chance to speak to everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Whilst they're with us in the presentation area, give them one tremendous cheer. A great test match. England have run out winners 56 points to Australia's 52. Credits to both countries.